characters are only there to stand in the way of the main ship and cause conflict and tension, so of course everyone's gonna hate them. Hi, I'm Claudia, and I'm a sucker for a good OC fanfic. Now, I know what you might be thinking, because OC fics are an acquired taste, but I love a good one, okay? There's just some situations where you just need an OC fic. But I love ship fics too, you know? I spent a whole chunk of my last video talking about my favourite ships and how many bookmarks I have of each of them. But sometimes I just want to read an OC fic, especially if it's with a character that isn't normally shipped with anyone. If you don't know what an OC fanfic is, let me give you a bit of a rundown. OC stands for original character, and what that basically means is the author has come up with their own character and inserted them into the story. And sometimes these characters are just side characters that are just kind of there because you need more people to fill up whatever situation you're in. For example, if you've got 4 canon characters, but you've got them, I don't know, working at a restaurant where you need 5 different people, then you'd come up with an OC to kind of fill that gap. Some fics are XOC fics, and what that basically means is the original character is being shipped with one of the canon characters. Or you can have an original character who is literally just there to further along the main ship. What I mean by that is sometimes you'll have a ship fic where one of the characters gets together with an OC to kind of further the story along and help the 2 characters actually get together at the end. Or sometimes you'll just have an OC that's literally just there for fun, which is always a good read. Some of my favourite OC fics are when a character somehow acquires a child. Now, usually the child in question is an original character, because in the canon that character doesn't have any kids. And I love a good one of those, you know, a character suddenly finds out they have a child, like through whatever means necessary, and suddenly they're taking care of this baby or toddler or sometimes teenager, and they have no clue what they're doing. And it's hilarious. It can also be extremely angsty considering the circumstances by which they acquire this child. Like maybe you have a male character who at some point in the past got a female character pregnant, usually a female OC unless there's like previous canon relationships. And the male character didn't know about this pregnancy until potentially the female character dies, and then suddenly they've acquired this child that they didn't know existed. There are also some fics that I've read where the mother just gives up the child or doesn't want to take care of the child, so the father gets custody. Or there's situations where the child has been left to a character in someone's will. It could be like the character's brother and sister-in-law have died and now they've got custody of their child, that kind of thing. Or it could be that the character's best friend has died and they've acquired their child. There's a lot of different ways a character can acquire a child. And if the character is some kind of first responder, you could have the situation where they go on a call and they find this child and then they suddenly adopt this child because they can't bear the thought of leaving them. I've read a lot of these fics, can you tell? I love a good child fic. Some of my favourite 911 fics are when Buck acquires a child. It's just so good. But there are also other types of OC fics. As I said before, you can have an OC who is just there to move the plot along and get 2 other characters together. And my best example for this is Grant Chapman, who I love so much. If you're a Marauders fan and you haven't read All the Young Dudes yet, maybe skip this bit, okay? I'm going to be talking about All the Young Dudes here. If you don't know, All the Young Dudes is a very famous Wolfstar fic. And Grant Chapman is an OC in that fic that Remus Lupin dates for a significant period of time while Sirius is in prison. They also have a thing where they're teenagers as well, but the main relationship they have is when Sirius is in prison. And as much as I love All the Young Dudes as a Wolfstar fic, and you know, even though it's canon compliant, they both die at the end, they still get together. Even though I love the fic for the Wolfstar, Grant Chapman still deserved better, okay? I know he ends up happy. I know that. I still think he deserved better. Every time I hear in 1998 the letters stopped, I am wrecked. My heart breaks, okay? I don't know what it is about Grant Chapman that makes me love him so much. I just know that I do. All the Young Dudes is so beautifully written that you can't help but fall in love with Grant Chapman. And that is a testament to the writing itself. Miss King Bean 98, the author of All the Young Dudes, is an absolutely stunning writer, and may also be Taylor Swift. So I don't think it's that surprising that so many people have fallen in love with Grant Chapman and just love this original character so much. And now I should probably stop talking about Grant Chapman before I burst into tears, so let's move on. See, XOC fics are an acquired taste. Because you're shipping an original character with a canon character, there's always going to be some people that ship that canon character with another canon character. And if that ship is extremely popular, then OC fics kind of fall to the wayside. However, if there's no super popular ship for that canon character, then OC fics are a great way to go. And what I'm going to talk about here is Shadows and Light by the Grey Lady Weeps on AO3. I absolutely love this fanfic. It is impeccably written, and I love Tor so much. This is a Criminal Minds fic, so if you're not a Criminal Minds fan, you probably won't enjoy it, but it is a hot XOC fic, and I love it so much. The OC's name is Tor Beauregard. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that last name right, but you know what I mean. And her and Hotch are initially complete enemies. Like, he hates her. Basically, Strauss puts her onto the team. And if you're a Criminal Minds fan, you'll know that Hotch does not like when Strauss interferes with his team. But they have this really cute and sweet enemies to lovers arc that I love so, so much. And yes, there's angst. There's a lot of heavy angst in this fic, but it's the right balance of angst and fluff for me, okay? I'm not going to spoil too much about it, but I highly recommend you go and read Shadows and Light if you're a Criminal Minds fan, especially if you're a Hotch fan. You can also have OC fics where, like Grant Chapman, the OC is there to kind of help the two main characters get together, but in a less devastating way. Like, there's quite a few fics that I've read where two characters are on the verge of getting together, something goes wrong, and they end up not talking for months. And then months later, they meet up with each other, and one of them's dating someone. Sometimes that someone is a canon character, but a lot of the time that's an OC someone's come up with. I think if it's an OC, it makes it easier for the reader to hate them, because you're not going to like a character that's standing in the way of the ship that you're trying to read. So if it's with a canon character, it gets harder to hate them because, you know, they're canon, you know their backstory and everything about them, whereas if they're an OC, you can just hate them on principle. And I'm not saying this is bad writing or whatever. I actually think it's really hard to write a character that everyone should just hate. Like, any fanfic author that writes a character that everyone hates and does it well should be applauded, because that is so hard, because all authors want to love their characters. So to write a character that you hate and everyone else hates is so hard. I'm not speaking from experience here. I just kind of presume it's really hard to hate a character, because the one time I wrote a fic with an OC, I loved that OC. So I imagine it is quite hard to write an OC knowing they're standing in the way of the main plot and knowing everyone will hate them, including probably the author themselves. And before you ask, no, that fanfic that I wrote is not currently up. Don't go looking for it, okay? And these OCs I'm talking about, they get a name. No one ever remembers their name. Like, I was rereading one of my favourite Upstead fics of all time a few weeks ago. It's called One More Song. It's by Annie Sardors on AO3. You should definitely go read it if you're an Upstead fan. It is so, so good. But in that fic, at one point, one of the two main characters that are being shipped together has a boyfriend, and I completely forget his name every time I read it. Like, I finished rereading that fic a couple of weeks ago, and I don't remember his name. It's completely gone. But I remember that I hate him, okay? Like, this is what I mean. These characters are only there to stand in the way of the main ship and cause conflict and tension. So of course everyone's gonna hate them. And those kind of OCs can create some great angst and fanfics, which I absolutely love. I love a good bit of conflict before the happy ending. And so many fanfic authors do it so, so well, where you can picture the OC in your mind and you can hate them so much. And that's the kind of OC fic that most people can get behind, even if you don't think you like OC fics. Because some people see original character in the tags and immediately not read it because they're like, oh, I don't want to read an original character fic. I want this character ship with someone else. But sometimes that original character is only there to create angst for the main ship and move them closer together and move the plot along. So I highly recommend reading them. Even if you don't think you'll like it, just try it. Because there'll probably be an OC fic out there that you do like. Even if you don't think you like the ones where they're being shipped with a canon character, just find one where your favourite character acquires a child. There you go, OC fic. But yeah, I do love to read a good OC fic, especially if I've been reading ship fics for ages and ages and ages and I'm getting a bit bored. I'll step away, read an OC fic or two, and then go back to the ship. If you also like OC fics, I have to be a bit awkward and cringy and ask you to maybe like the video and subscribe. I make a bunch of fanfiction related content, so if you like this video, you'll probably like my others as well, so I'd really appreciate it if you check them out or subscribed or whatever. You can follow me on TikTok, Twitter or Blue Sky, links down below, and comment down below if I've made you like OC fics for the first time. So yeah, I've been Claudia, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll hopefully see you all soon. Bye!